What's up, Aquarius, and welcome to your July 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is interested in their personal growth, self-expression, or spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are important for you, I encourage you to go ahead and keep watching. I also want to say that you can use my readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign. You can listen to all of them, or it's possible sometimes if you do listen to them, they may not always resonate because they are just general readings. So keep that in mind. And also the feedback that I usually get from people is that if they listen again to the reading at the end of the month, a lot of times they can see more about how their own energy showed up in the collective reading for that sign. So that's always an interesting experiment with any reader that you follow, to just, come back and re-listen and see what are the themes, how does your energy tend to show up in the collective in these YouTube readings that we're doing. So let's get into your messages. So while I was tuning in for you, Aquarius, I was being given this impression almost of like Hercules. When Hercules was wrestling with the lion, that was one of the tasks that he was given in the myth of Hercules, and that was coming through sort of strongly. Like, it just felt like I could see someone sort of wrestling with something, and it felt to me very much related to like your a need to be courageous at this time in your life, like a need to be courageous and kind of persistent, like almost stalwart in your efforts, like really just continuing, even if you are kind of in that complex place of really trying to wrestle something to the ground, or really trying to, like, it's almost like you're wrestling with something in yourself right now, Aquarius. Like, I don't know if you are changing your approach to something in life, or maybe you are thinking about changing a career path, or you could be changing your spiritual beliefs in some way, or your beliefs about life. But whatever it is, like, I think it's kind of a messy process at times. But just like, for example, in physical labor, that can be a very messy process when a child is being born. But what is able to emerge from that experience is the generative magic of the universe. It's the mystery of life, right? And so this is big. Like, this is a big deal for you. I don't think that you're taking it lightly. Whatever it is that you're trying to sort of bring into being is it's giving you a little bit of a struggle. But I do think that what is coming out of this is a path forward for you that is very much, it's a lot more about immediate manifestations. Like, I think that some of the things that you are wrestling with right now are belief systems or concepts that have held you back from really experiencing quicker manifestations of your desires, and have held you back from achieving some of your goals. So it's very exciting. In one way, it's a very exciting time. But on the other sense, it's like you're reorienting so many things, even neurologically speaking. Like, I just got an image of neural pathways almost like firing off, but then having to like redirect themselves. And that takes a little while to rewire our brain, right? If that's what you're doing, Aquarius, that doesn't happen overnight. You have to be consistent to break any bad mental habits. This is going well for you. Like, even if it doesn't feel that way, it is going really well. That is the message I get spiritually for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at your cards, and we'll get some more information for you. Okay. I also was seeing and kind of hearing someone like singing. I don't know, it's kind of funny. But I wonder if music isn't going to kind of help you with the restructuring that you're doing right now. Like, if you're, for example, I used the concept of rewiring your brain. I know that music has very real physiological effects on the brain. So maybe having music in your life right now, or even singing, like if you're by yourself or whatever, if you're shy, just singing more often when you're by yourself. I think that, oh, I'm getting kind of chills on that. I think that would be really good to help you usher in this new vibration that's being born within you. Okay. And your Bob Ross message. All right, let's take a look at your cards. So we've got the frog crossed by the eagle. Wow. So what is actually coming through for me when I look at these is different than what I would expect to see. And I apologize if you guys can hear my little dog. She's snoring. And she wanted to be in here while I'm doing readings. So the frog is your path and the eagle is the influence. But one of the things that I kind of see here is a recognition of like two very different approaches to life. Okay, like I look at the frog, and the frog is looking over at the eagle, and I think the frog isn't going to try and emulate the eagle, right? Because the frog is a frog. So the frog path is related to the frog's physiology. It's related to the kind of creature it is. Whereas the eagle's path, eagles probably eat frogs because they live near water as well. So I'm sure they do. But the eagle lives its own life according to its own kind, right? And I think that there's some kind of message here with this for you, Aquarius, that I don't know if this is something that you may have been thinking about lately, if you are the type of person that has been maybe being mentored by someone, for example, or you could be learning, you could be shadowing someone in your career, or you could have a very influential role model figure that you look up to in certain aspects of life. Many Aquarians are idealistic people, meaning that they see like a concept. This is also a Uranian theme, which I think, Uranus is affinity. I think of Uranus as having an affinity for Aquarius, but not being the ruler, because that's Saturn for me. But Uranus does have a connection with Aquarius, and I think that the connection is really in this idea of visualizing something beautiful, like visualizing something that would be an ideal situation. There's an idealistic quality to the archetype of, the Aquarian. But I feel like when I'm looking at these, it's almost like maybe some of you are not losing that sense of idealism, but you're recognizing something that more matches your reality. And it doesn't fit with your prior vision or your prior kind of concept of like what would be the ideal situation, either for you or for society or for, somebody else, for your business maybe. I'm not really sure. But it's like, I think you're realizing that it's like, oh, I can hear someone being like, oh, like that's a great path for that person, but it's not a great path for me. And there's this sense of relief with that, or there's this sense of ownership being taken within you where you're able to own your path. And I think you're the eagle, honestly, in this situation, but you have elements of the frog as well. But also I want to say that this is an important time to kind of try and clear your environment of any energies that you don't find to be particularly useful for you. So if you have a lot of energies, people, maybe personalities, or even maybe it's time to do a good energy cleanse on your home. If you have meditation bells, or if you have something to use smoke or incense or smudging, sage, something to really just like clear the atmospheric energies around you physically and also in your home. I think that there's a real sense here of like getting a clarity of your space in life and getting a clarity of your path that you want to take, and then really owning it. And I think that's something that we're doing when we're doing an energetic cleanse on a space. We're really anchoring in our energy. We're kind of banishing anything that doesn't belong, any energies that we don't want around us in the house. And we're just filling it with our own intentions. So I think like you're kind of maybe doing that on a physical level. Like some of you guys could be doing a detox at this time. You could be drinking more water or taking some sort of supplement that is also good for detoxification. You could be doing exercise that moves lymph specifically to kind of allow, things to go through the body. But I think there's something here really about just realizing what is your path and what isn't your path, and just making peace with that. So let's take a look at your cards and we'll get some more information. Wow, so we've got 6 of Wands and the 8 of Cups with Judgment and the World. Wow, big stuff here. We've got 3 of Swords and the Queen of Swords. We've got 6 of Pentacles and 5 of Pentacles. Interesting. So if I could sum up this reading for you, Aquarius, and I don't want you to feel like disappointed by this at all, but like it would be that song, Bittersweet Symphony, by The Verve. I think it's the name of the band is The Verve. Yeah, it's like Bittersweet Symphony is like all over this because you've got the sweet here. You do have some kind of accomplishment that you're coming into July with the 6 of Wands, but for some reason this is kind of putting you in the place to go to the next stage, and that's going on in the first week of July. So it's like the accomplishment of something, or the maybe putting something out there, or just finishing something perhaps. Leads you to this point of like having to, all right, now I have to start the next leg of my journey. It's like summing up the past, and you have good things about the past. You have accomplished good things, but then it's also like, okay, now I have to keep going. You could look at this almost like, I could say as an example, somebody that maybe graduates from an educational program, right? And maybe they were a really good student. Like a lot of Aquarians are very intellectually open and like able to be stimulated by information. And so you tend to have a high intellect and a high interest in life, which makes you great students as long as you're studying material that's actually interesting to you. So this could be like you're finishing something, some kind of education program, or maybe you're finishing a great book. You're graduating, some of you perhaps, and it's like, oh, okay, like I actually did kind of enjoy that, like I liked being a student, but now you have to move on. And that's what we see here in the second week of July. We have Judgment and the World, which is, again, this is clear endings energy. This is like, summarize what you've done, look over what you've done, journal about it, write a summary. If you were going to write an essay of your life, Aquarius, for the past, couple years or whatever, just for the duration of time you've been working on whatever the things are that you've been working on, what would that essay say? Like how would you create a narrative about the path that you have most recently walked in life? I think it's good for you to think about a way that you can do that, like synthesize your narrative and really start to get an understanding of like what you feel this most recent chapter of your life has been all about. What have you learned? How have you grown? What makes you feel the most spiritually connected now? And how can you bring more of that into your life? Answer those 4 questions in a journal prompt or a journal entry. Those are like 4 prompts. I think it was 4. I'm pretty sure it was 4. So the first half of the month is about summing up a journey, and there's an energy of completion. The second half of the month, I think, is showing, these cards are showing the energies of the second half of the month, but they're also showing what's going on underneath the surface for you throughout the month. So when you have the Six of Wands above the Three of Swords, again, it's like on the surface, it's the Six of Wands. You're accomplishing something, good things are happening. You're graduating, maybe something along those lines. But then underneath that is a sadness because you're letting go of the past. I see energies like this sometimes come up for new parents in my personal, like professional readings that I do. And it's because it's important to allow ourselves to kind of mourn our previous incarnation. Like we go through multiple incarnations in our own life, like in one lifetime. And so when we have children for the first time, let's say you become a parent and that changes your whole position in the universe. Like you go from being a child, like someone's child, to being someone's mom or dad. And that's a huge change for like the soul to go through, the spirit of the person to go through, because it's like, whoa, it changes your whole way of relating to the entire universe. It's not a small thing. So it's a natural thing, but it's not a small thing. And some of you could be going through that, or others of you could be going through like some kind of metaphorical version of that. You know, you could be going from being a student to being a professional, like person in your industry, in a new industry. Or you could go from being in training to being a trainer. You could be, you know, there's like a lot of different ways that this could come through, but I think this is relevant. This overall type of theme is relevant for you, Aquarius. So I think this is really what you're wrestling with. I think this is what was coming through in the meditation about like Hercules being in the cave and like he was wrestling the lion, you know, that's the mythology. And I think that you are kind of wrestling with something internally for the most part. And it's good because you have more sovereignty. Like your Queen of Swords card is coming up here to represent you, Aquarius. You are sharp-witted, you're an air sign, you are fair, you are a good leader, you care about being objective and knowing the facts. So there's a lot here with this card that I think, you know, showing you that you are gaining in some kind of personal autonomy in your life. And this will lead to things like financial achievements as well. However, I think there's a danger this month that you could be a little too cold about something, okay? That's what I really see here is like, it feels to me like you could be thinking in terms that are a little bit overly pragmatic, because you have, after that, you have the Six of Pentacles and then you have the Five of Pentacles. So you kind of have like in reverse, you have this, the normal like energy of this pairing in reverse, where like normally it would be the 5 and then the 6. You have the 6 and then the 5. So, and these people are the same people. These are the people that are getting, you know, support from the guy in the 6 of Pentacles, and then they're walking away kind of dejected in the 5 of Pentacles. So in some ways, I feel like this reading is acknowledging some potential losses, I guess, that you could be experiencing, but I don't think it's a big deal. Like, I don't think it's something that is like earth-shattering for you. I feel like it's more kind of a sense of, when I look at these cards, it's like wanting more support than you're getting from the outside. And maybe that's what this like prior situation gave you. Like for some reason, the example that I'm thinking of right now is like if you're a real estate agent and you were working with like a group, you know, you might be making the decision to go work on your own, or you could be leaving the group to participate in something else. And so it's like you're, on the one hand, like you're glad to be doing what you're doing because it's the Six of Wands. Like this does represent a step up for you, and you're choosing it because it's the Six of Wands. So it's a good thing. And it's inevitable because you've got these two major arcana cards. So it's like what you're going through right now is impersonal, Aquarius. It's the major arcana cards represent the energies of fate and destiny. So when you have these coming up here, and you have like the Three of Swords, it's like tempting for you to think like, am I making the wrong decision here? Like, is this really what's in my best interest? But it is, because you wouldn't have been able to keep doing things the way that you did before. There's just no way. Like, there's no way. The universe doesn't support that. You can't go backwards, Aquarius. You can only go forward. So don't let that doubt get to you. Know that you are working with the energy of fate and that there is a cosmic element going on here that is in your favor ultimately, but it does mean that you might feel like a sovereign, person like the Queen of Swords. You might feel like you're in this high place because she's up on a high mountain in this image. So you might feel like you're in this high place and it's lonely, it's a little bit lonely. But, I think what you're doing right now is opening doors for you in the future. It's setting you up so that doors can open for you in the future that are better. So yes, you can't go backwards, but the future, if you go forwards, it's better than what you would be trying to go back to anyway. So it's important to give yourself time to sort of grieve the last chapter. If it's a loss of a last chapter, like I said, even for young new parents, there's still that period of grieving, like, whoa, I used to be this like single person. I used to just like not have to freaking change diapers all the time or whatever. There's a grieving process, but it's ultimately like the best thing that ever happened to them at the same time. So it's like, yeah, it's challenging, but it's also life, and it's love, and it's soul kind of cracking open, intense, powerful beauty of like the purest form of the highest vibration of love that you could ever imagine. And it's really fucking messy. Oh, sorry guys, I cussed. I'm not supposed to cuss on here because of the new like YouTube regulations, so hopefully they don't get me in trouble for that. But yeah, it's like, it's full on, gorgeous, powerful, highest vibration stuff, but it's also a challenge. And you can feel alienated when you're on this kind of new journey because you're going it alone. We all have to go it alone. Like, our people around us can take us to the threshold. People that we love can support us and guide us and give us that little nudge. Sometimes when we're at the end of the diving board thinking about going in, you just like just push us over. Our loved ones and people around us, mentors, they can be a beautiful source of support, but ultimately, like, every single one of us has to be ultimately the director of our own consciousness and our own personal growth. So this is your way of doing that, Aquarius, and I think you should really trust yourself. Be mindful of spending in the last week of July, or maybe also before that, like throughout the month. Maybe save a little bit of extra money than you normally would until the end of July, because there could also, for some of you, on a very mundane level, there could be some additional expenses or something along those lines. So just keep that in mind, that it'd be a good idea to have some good financial holdings just in case, and if you don't need it, then it's great, perfect. But I do think it's potentially, with that Five of Pentacles, like, you might be happy that you have a little bit of a nest egg. So if you're thinking about making a big purchase and you're not sure if you should, and you can put it off, Aquarius, until August, go with that just in case. Okay, Bob Ross message. He says, This is a happy place. Little squirrels live here and play. It's the Joker card as well. So yeah, I think this is like you are finding your happy place. Little squirrels live here. You know, it's like remember to be present, because if you're in your mind, you're thinking about the past and comparing that to the present. But if you pay attention to the present, you might just see how much beauty there actually is in it. And wouldn't that be special? Wow. Just got you guys your surrender card. It says surrender to divine timing. Sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough, according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. Yeah, I feel like this is really saying like you're safe where you are, Aquarius, so don't feel like you have to rush anything. Enjoy the little squirrels playing, you know, in the moment where you are, because everything is occurring for you according to divine timing, and the best thing you can do right now is find your ease. Find what feels good to you in this moment and work with that. All right, Aquarius, thank you so much for being here. Sending you tons of love and light. I have a money wealth building workshop for healers and creators, which is coming up next month. I'll put that information below the video so that you can check it out. Also, I am just wanting to let you guys know that you can look below the video for the links to all of the decks that I am using today. So if you want to purchase a new deck for yourself, if you're in the mood to treat yourself, you can definitely try one of these. I really love the Surrender Oracle. It's a very, very sweet deck. Although sometimes it will call you out. It'll definitely call you out sometimes, I've noticed. But anyway, with the links below, they are affiliate links, and they do go to support the time and energy that I spend working on these readings every single month. So if you want to support my channel and you want to treat yourself, definitely check out the links below. Also, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. If you're still with me, leave me a comment below and say I'm still with you, or leave me a little like lion face emoji, because I had that lion energy coming through in the meditation for you guys, Hercules and the lion. Yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing month. Please take care of yourselves. Subscribe, comment, thumbs up this video, donate if you want. All that good stuff, all that information is below the video. Take care, Aquarius. Sending you a huge hug, and I will talk to you next time.